So today we're speaking with Kevin Maas from Maas Brothers Powder Coating out in Livermore, California. Kevin, thanks for joining us today.
Sure, no problem.
Great. Maas Brothers, so I guess you have some family members that run that with you?
A brother. One brother.
A brother. Okay, great. Yes. So for those that may not know, on your site, I saw you guys have a very big facility there. Tell us a little bit about all that you offer manufacturers who are needed items coated correctly. Tell us about all those services that you provide to them.
Well, we do a little bit of wet painting, blasting, all the stuff that's required to cater to our customers. We have moved into the conveyorized, more futuristic kind of stuff because that's where we saw it going. And we continue to innovate and stay up to speed with all the new things that are being offered, which there's a lot. We're phasing out of wet paint,
Right.
Just a lot more work to do and more responsibility. And it's more future is driven the powder coating ways.
Right.
The way we want to go.
Right.
So we started out 1998 in a 7,000 square foot building and slowly progressed. And in 2008, we moved into the building we are now. We expanded, actually. We were fortunate enough to be able to expand. And we put in a rather large conveyor system, which 14 feet a minute. It holds 12'6" load bar by 5 foot. So 2 feet wide, 5 feet tall. And we've got a closed loop cleaner. It's all roll-off compliant. All of our water is recycled. We have no drains. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, we added to our line. And what we did is we extended it to be able to prime or secondary coat or for touching up, or we have manual booths that you can walk in and walk around. And then an infrared who half cures it and then top coat. We bought a new MS booth, which is state of the art, and we can do a color change in 7 minutes. So 7 to 10, depending on the pace. But it's all worked out really well, and it's given us a lot of flexibility. So 2 years ago, we bought another small line, 6 foot a minute line, which allows us to, for backup. I think at the beginning of COVID, it kind of slowed everything down a little bit, and we're seeing it picking back up now. So we've got that for backup, and we don't run it a whole bunch, but when we need to, we can. So we pretty much, we have a batch shop that can do anything up to 25 feet. So we found that by having that, we're trying not to cater to the 1 and 2 person walk-in shops, which we do. That's where our background from. So we have a hard time turning that down because we're very fortunate and appreciative of those guys who help build us up. Because I work for them. I work for all of my employers, the vendors and people that I cater to, and everybody's just as important, whether it's one piece or a million pieces. So, but we try to cater to the people that have the volume, because that's our, you got to stick with what you do. When you have a 70,000 square foot building, you can't be walking all over the place with one part, You got to really have a good flow and understanding of where your strength is. So that's what we've done. We've done it for a long time. We make all our own fixtures. We make our own racks. We do have sheet metal shops that we work with that can produce larger volume if we need to, hooks and fixtures and stuff like that. We do have a lot of different things that we do that are, there's not a whole bunch of things. Everyone can go buy the equipment, but how you do it is where you make the difference. So we're very good at fixturing, coming up with ideas, being creative, and having a good flow pattern. So we've there's been a lot of people that have mimicked our facility in making their own. They've come in and seen us and walked our shop, and customers that we've had for years, and they go, we want to add our own. And
good luck.
Rather than fighting with them, we help them. We help set them up.
Right.
We tell them what to do,
right.
who to talk to, and I think they understand the work that's involved.
The complexity of it. Correct. Right.
Yeah, and they appreciate it. Sometimes they come back, sometimes they don't, but they always. Right. It's better to have a friend out there like that than an enemy.
Right.
So,
exactly.
And we've made our whole entire career, I guess, off of being open and having a lot of friends.
Right.
We've been in.
Right.
We're very fortunate to have a lot of people that we've met along the way that they all understand how hard we work. They all appreciate it. We're on the floor 6 to 7 days a week. I might be sweeping. I might be cleaning.
Right.
I get in the tanks.
But you're there.
I do everything. And they know that.
Right.
And I think that's
right.
where, my guys respect us because we do everything. And I try to do
right.
as much as I can.
Right.
I'd rather have someone ask me 5 times how to do it right than
right.
fix it once,
Then to get right. Yes. So when you added your automated line, was that a kind of leap of faith? Did you have the work available?
Yeah, it was.
That was going
handshake.
Rally. Right.
Yeah. Handshake and 2 weeks of no sleep. Right.
Right. Right. Those aren't cheap, and they're expensive, and they can be a nightmare. But to get them dialed in. But like I said, I mean, did you kind of had somebody who said they would be bringing you the work, and
yes,
you made you wrote the check, got it installed, and everything, and did it pretty much panned out for you? I guess that was kind of a turning point, right, to get that.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, we've always talked about, when we make a mistake on the batch side, it's 1 or 2 pieces.
Right.
When you make a mistake on the conveyor side, you've got 45 minutes of parts before you realize that you got that to come back and fix it. And you have to take a different approach to it. You really do. You have to be able to, we call it the NASCAR moment, something breaks or, how fast can we do a tire change and get that stuff back on? And we've done a lot of stuff. And we've learned a lot. I mean, there's no book on all this stuff, parts.
Right.
We're still finding out stuff.
Trial and error. Right. Yeah. Every part's different. And yeah. Take me back to, so when you started, I mean, did you and your brother, Craig, I believe his name is, right? I mean, what was your background in the coating industry or manufacturing?
Well, my dad owned a shop a long time ago, not this one, a paint shop, old school computer, when it was called Maas Tech Coat. And I worked there for all the summers coming up as a kid, and then we went off and did our own thing, and we're journeyman carpenters, metal stud, drywall, and we loved it. And then we kind of got to a point to where we're like, okay, let's try this and see how it goes, and we did, and it was a leap of faith for sure. Even then, it was a leap of faith to do a batch,
right? To
get your name out there is really hard from scratch, and now I think half the people that are in business get started from going to a car show,
Right.
They go to a car show and they go, I can do that, and, they learn the hard way too. They have to learn just like everyone else, and put stuff in their oven. I mean, and with no airflow, it doesn't cure right, but it gels out.
Right.
And it's enough for the small guy, but when you have to start stripping that stuff, you learn real quick that you got to do it right.
Right. Exactly. What type of industries are you working with these days? Like I said, you do some big parts and you do a lot of parts for people. And like I said, the batch, but what type of industries have you been kind of doing lately?
Lately, it has been really, I think over the last 2 years, it's been driven by batteries, cars,
EVs.
Yeah, you got EV, we got autonomous tractors companies around here, car companies, truck companies, and we've been very fortunate to be partnered with, not really partnered, but being on the forefront of that. We've had a lot of people believe in our process, so they come to us for answers, and all these new startups that are coming in, they all come to us for answers,
right.
But that's probably maybe 20% maybe of the people that come in, the newer customers. Silicon Valley used to be all computers, and it's kind of, it has phased out a little bit. it's mostly EV companies now, automotive and robotic companies do a lot of that. We do lighting. We do automotive. We do,
so it's kind of broad. I mean, it's not like you got all your eggs in one basket. You're all over it with the right. Yeah. Let me ask you, when you have when you go from a 7,000 to 70,000 over the years, how do you scale up that quality that I know that you want, right? You know what a good coated part is going to look like, how it's going to last. How do you scale that up to keep the quality that you guys are going to stand behind?
Well, that's one thing that's built us from scratch. We stand behind everything. Somebody is not happy, we'll strip it and give it back to you raw. You came in with a painted part, we're going to strip it. If you're not happy, give it back to you raw, or we'll redo it as many times as it takes. That's it's a small thing that you hope no one else figures it out.
Right.
We've never had a salesperson. We just over the last year started doing sales to grow. Our goal is to double in 5 years. We have about 85 people right now. So when you go from 7,000, the deal is you can see everything in the 7,000, everything right. You can watch it go from, right. It's real close. When it goes to 70, you realize you really need every single person, and I would say what I tell my guys is, a mistake is good if you learn from it. Right. It's the same as sending someone to school and getting a class out of it. So we really break down all of the process when we have a reject. If it's something that, whether it's a new part, whether it's a mistake that was made, no matter how it is, we go backwards and we find out exactly where it went wrong and how are we going to fix it. Because that's the way I've learned to wrap my head around a mistake instead of being down in the mouth for 2 weeks while you got to walk by when everyone's standing parts, So and my other thing is, whenever I have a reject, I really crank it out and get it behind me, because I can't have it in front of me. And it if you're paying too close attention to that one mistake, you're making 2 other ones.
Right. Exactly.
We've been growing. We've been learning a lot. We've been adding people, administrative especially. So that's another way we're trying to step up our game. And we're constantly looking for the newest partner, newest vendor to accommodate, because our niche is doing stuff a certain way and getting it on time and delivering it as required.
Right. So I saw on your site, you say, we keep our word, right? You keep our word and we give you quality. And, that's kind of lost in today's manufacturing processes a lot of time, right? Yes. Let me ask you, I mean, you were probably a pretty good owner at 7,000 square feet and 10 people, right? How have you adjusted to, you've got this, like you said, you probably can't see every spot in your shop or in your facility, right? How have you had to adapt and change to that? I mean, it's just like, it seems like everything is exponentially bigger now, right?
Yeah, it is really tough. It is tough. I mean, it's not for everybody. Some people are better at it than me. My wife, she is the office manager, and she is the most calm, cool, collective person. She's been a driving force to our success right now. And me and my brother can go on the floor and do anything on the floor. But you're only as good as you have. When you get bigger, you have to have people that are better than you around you.
Right.
I mean, you saw I couldn't even get on the computer. I'm not a computer guy.
Right. You're on the shop floor, right? You're out there.
Yeah, and I've learned to stay in my lane.
Right.
Get people around me that are better than me, and I'm always looking for people that are better than me now. And before, I think when I first started in the 7,000 square foot shop, I wanted it my way, and that was it. And if you can't do it, I'll come in on Saturday and Sunday and nights, and no big deal, But now I can't turn the machine on until I have everybody here,
Right.
So
It's a big it's a big operation, right? It's complex, of getting, like you said, getting parts clean, getting them moved through the rack, getting them hung, getting them taken off, and at the volume of that. You talked about, that you never really had a salesperson, so it sounds like it was a lot of word of mouth. People just kind of saying, where'd you get those parts done? I got them at Maas Brothers. They did them. They got, did exactly what they said they were going to do. And then you talked about, a little bit looking to grow a little bit. So what does that entail? I mean, is that you're looking to expand your facility? Can you expand it? Or are you just looking for different types of customers? Or
we can't really expand it. We're tapped out in the building what we're in right now, but we can definitely go to another shift. Before COVID, we had another shift. And when COVID hit, I just wanted everything under one shift. No matter what, I want everything right there so we can watch everybody. No one's going to get hurt. No one's going to get, nothing's going to get out of control. And when we did that, we became really focused on being, we're doing as much now in our 8-hour shift as we were doing in our 2 shifts. Pretty crazy,
Right.
But starting a shift back up is tough. You have to have the work. So when you hire people, you can't just have them come in for 3 weeks and then send them home.
Right.
You have to have the work to justify it. But we're really focused on being efficient, and whether it means getting another shop, moving the batch shop close by, we're not sure yet. And there's a lot of new technology that's coming out too, so we're always open to that. I think the lower temp cures,
even like MDF and wood, maybe possibly that's getting much better, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's all there, but you got to have something behind it that supports it. We've always challenged ourselves on being taking chances. We did silkscreen for a while. Someone told us, you got to do silkscreen. We'll send you all our work. But they were sending us zinc plated stuff that they wanted silkscreen that day.
Right.
So it was too fast for not that much money, and it took up too much space. So it didn't add to our powder coating. We want to add to our powder. We want to be able to give our customer, if they need a painted part, one little plastic piece that goes with it, that's what we want to paint. We don't want the customer that has truckloads of paint, We want to have that added value to where if they need one plastic piece to match their parts, they can do that. If they want high volume and they have one big piece that they need to, we can do that. We have a blast room. We just, built a new blast room, put an elevator in, really nice, state of the art. We've got about 4 manual blasters that are pretty good size, and cabinets, and that that gives you a little bit of flexibility too. The one thing we've realized, though, the blasting is probably the slowest thing.
Right.
That you can't speed it up, right? You can't make that move faster. You can't, and if you've got moving parts in there, they just wear out faster.
Right. Yeah. Right. There's a hands-on process with that. Yeah. Who are some of your? You mentioned you're always looking for new technology. Who are some of your equipment partners as far as spray guns and powders and things like that? Who have you been working with that?
Well, we started with Nordson, and it went really well. It's it's worked out pretty good. We were a little bit turned off by some of the equipment they phase out, so you have to buy new stuff, and we weren't. I didn't like that, it's throwing money at stuff,
Right.
And then all of a sudden, when everyone finds out that it's going away, everyone they buy it all up so they have control of it.
So they have it, right?
So we partnered up, or we hooked up with MS.
Gotcha.
And it is state of the art. So we're always looking for the newest thing, and the booth is, it's not, doesn't roll on and roll off like our other ones. We have 2 of those booths, and then we have 2 manual booths that used to be there for all of our small color change, quick stuff that we could still do on the conveyor line, but in manual booths, and just change out the pot. Well, what we did when we put the MS booth in, we put another kitchen in, moved the 2 booths to do the priming, and have a full kitchen with automated guns that does all the priming, or they can do a top coat. We doubled up. Some customers want more powder. Some customers want functionality. That's what we're getting a lot more requests of. Like the EV guys, for functionality. They're not so much aesthetic. So, you you got a little bit of aesthetic, functionality, and purpose-driven stuff, you know. So
right.
it's all being powder coated, but different directions, you know.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
We do a lot of construction panels, which that's what drove us to get the priming in there.
Right.
Batch side would take us about 2 or 3 weeks to do a truckload, and now it gets about 4 hours. You know?
Right.
It's a big difference.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
And all that, and the consistency. That's what this allows us to do.
Right.
We run samples. I'll run a sample, you know, as many times as I have to get it right. Save the settings, write everything down, and then we can mass produce it. You know.
Right.
That's our forte. And
right.
saving time is saving money.
Right.
And we can
exactly.
And you know, we even go back as far as back to the customer. We try to go back and let them know when they're designing it, get in touch with us. We can help you hang it or design it to where it fits better on my line.
Right.
It'll clean better, it'll powder better, and it'll be cheaper and faster, you know?
Right. Right.
And that
helps a lot to, you know, to get in there early and have that say, right. Because you're the last person to touch it. And that's sometimes people don't think about that. And they just sort of want you to kind of solve it with that.
We've helped a lot of people, and you know, there's a lot of companies that have sold their product to a bigger company, and they've taken that product, and you know, they'll come in and watch how we do it because they couldn't figure it out, and then they'll take it and with them. And you know, if they're going anyway. So you know, try to help everybody because it's our name. You know, they're not coming here anyway, so they're either gonna. OEM people, when we were first looking at automated line, we went and looked at a bunch of different stuff. The OEM companies, there's no reason for them to jam more stuff in the minute, right? It doesn't. They're just working on doing their job and pushing stuff out. And if they, you know, get their 8 hours in, that's what they're worried about. Well, for us, we got a real good visual of that early on. And, you know, I've seen a couple companies, I'm not going to mention names, but at time they just pull the breaker and everything stops. And I mean, I get like twivers, you know, when I see that. We don't do that. We rotate. We don't stop it when we turn it on, you know. If I don't have enough work to run it, I won't start it. And we'll clean floors. I paint the floors all the time because I like a clean floor. I like a clean shop. I spend a lot of time cleaning. I spend more time than I do at home.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw some of your photos. I mean, it looks like it surprised me because it looked like, you know, one of these European manufacturing facilities, you know, where the cars are going in, you know, where things are painted. You've got things up where, you know, everybody working there, which I'm sure, like I said, it looks great. But also, you know, for your employees that are there, gives a good impression, right? That, you know, we're running a clean facility here, an organized facility. Let's keep things organized. Correct.
Yeah. And you know, like I said, I'm here more than anybody. I'm here more than at home. So I like it clean, and it just makes me feel good, you know, to clean and have it nice. So yeah, it's been really good. I think when someone walks in our shop, they get that feeling within the first minute of how things are operating, how we do it, and how important it is to us to deliver what we say. So. It has it's worth its weight. If I walked into a shop, you know, and you have cords and stuff all over the ground and dusty and dirty, you have a hard time believing something like that. You have to see it then, right?
Right. And it leads to the question if you're not going to take care of your stuff, how are you going to take care of their stuff, their parts? You know, it leaves that impression that you care about that. Let me ask you. I guess for you know, like you said, you're what are some strategies you're going to have to grow your business? You said you brought some people that, like I said, sales, because, you know, you're only one person. You can't do it all a lot of times. But what's your strategy for that of going forward?
Well, our strategy right now is to innovate, just stay up on all the processes, take everyone's position and evaluate them. And how can we make their job better? How can we make it easier and more streamlined? We can streamline everybody's jobs. Then it frees up a couple people to do other things, you know, teaching our crew, giving everyone a little more responsibility, letting them know that they have a future.
Right.
That to me is really important. I care about all my guys. We have 401, we have pension, we have healthcare. It's important. I went and saw an extrusion company in Utah a couple of years ago, and it showed me that is important to people.
Right.
Right? And this company had told us they were, I think, number 1 or 2 in the state for 3 or 4 years running. And they had childcare, they had a chiropractor, they had a laundry service, they had a physical therapist. And I'm like, and the kitchen, I'm like, wow, this is,
Right. Right.
They quit their job and go down the street for the one who had an extra hour of daycare,
Right.
dog care.
Right.
So that was important to them. And we're trying to, before we can get to that stage, of offering that kind of stuff, it made me think about how important all the employees are. They all want to be here. I want them to want to be here.
Right.
So,
and especially in these times where it's hard to get people, hard to get labor. That's got to be, it's, I'm sure, at the end of the day, all the things you mentioned, are expensive, right? I mean, 401ks and these type of things, but, continually having to hire and train people has got to be expensive as well. And so, like you said, it's kind of a nice approach to all of that. So yeah, definitely to keep them happy.
Well, yeah, when we started, it was important to us because we started from a construction background, carpenters, and we had a little bit of a pension. We took all that, cashed it in, and that's what we bought our business with. Started our business with, and we had nothing.
Right.
Nothing. We started from scratch. I didn't get a paycheck for 2 years. Don't even ask me how we did it. I don't know. And me and my brother would walk by each other and not talk to each other all day because we're trying to focus.
Right.
And we knew, it changes you when you put it all in.
Right.
Everything on the line. You got no other way. You can't go
right.
back.
There's no plan B.
Correct. All in. And that's what I'm trying to get my guys to do is to go all in. And you go all in and I'll go all in.
Right. And show them that appreciation that, how vital they are. Right. That's important. Yeah.
If you give to me, I'll give to you.
Right. Looking back, I mean, sitting here today, what advice would you have given yourself years ago when you first started this, and maybe when you made that leap to buy the automation line? What advice now would you probably give yourself back then?
Well, that's a great question. I think my head was spinning in circles so fast. I was definitely not paying attention. But I always tell everyone, including my employees, my kids, when you're at your lowest point, pay attention, because that's when you're going to learn the most. You don't remember the best game you ever have, but you sure remember that one that you lost really bad. When something breaks, you're having a bad day. We've had line down and you're pulling your hair out. You have to take it. And what are you going to do to fix it? That's the whole thing. And you remember, I remember my grandparents washing Ziploc bags out and putting them upside down. And I always ask, why did they do that? The bags don't cost that much, right? They remember their bad time,
right?
And they didn't have any money. So, that is what I wish I would have focused on that when I was back there, because I would have learned more. What I'm learning now is what should have learned 20 years ago.
Right. Well, like I said, as a business owner, you learn every day, right? You learn something every single day out there with that. But well, listen, I appreciate all the time. This is great information. Like I said, it's almost a blueprint to run a successful business. But like you said, it's a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of expertise. I mean, like you said, people can try to do this starting out. I know you would probably admit you're a better coder now than when you were day one, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and
I learned stuff that I will never do again, and stuff that some of the best jobs you never do are the ones you don't get.
Right.